It was a quiet winter night, the kind that made the world feel suspended in time. Snow blanketed the ground, muting every sound. Emma pulled her coat tighter as she trudged along the desolate road toward her grandmother's house. The woods lining either side of the road seemed to breathe with the wind. Grandma had warned her never to take the forest path after dark. "There's something in the woods," she'd said, her frail hands trembling as she spoke. Emma had laughed it off as the ramblings of an old woman. But tonight, the road felt longer, the silence heavier. Halfway through her walk, she noticed it. A shadow, darker than the night, lingering just beyond the tree line. It moved when she moved, stopping when she stopped. Her breath hitched as she quickened her pace, the shadow following in perfect rhythm. She told herself it was nothing, a trick of the moonlight. But deep down, she knew better. The air grew colder, biting at her skin with an unnatural chill. A low hum began to fill the silence, resonating from the trees. It wasn't the wind. It was something else, something alive. Emma's heart pounded as she broke into a run, her boots slipping on the icy road. The shadow matched her speed, closing the distance between them with terrifying ease. As she reached a bend in the road, the hum transformed into a whisper. It called her name, soft and sweet, like a lullaby. She clapped her hands over her ears, but the voice wasn't coming from outside. It was inside her head, crawling through her thoughts like a parasite. She stumbled and fell, the cold seeping into her bones as she hit the ground. The whisper turned into laughter, echoing through the woods. Emma scrambled to her feet, her eyes darting around in search of the shadow. But it was gone. The road ahead stretched out endlessly, the trees now pressing closer as if trying to trap her. "Why are you running?" a voice hissed behind her. Emma froze. It was no longer inside her head. Slowly, she turned. A figure stood just a few feet away, its form shifting and writhing like smoke. Eyes, if they could be called that, glowed a sickly yellow, boring into her soul. Its grin stretched impossibly wide, revealing rows of jagged teeth. "I've been waiting for you," it crooned. Emma tried to scream, but no sound came out. Her legs refused to move, rooted to the spot by an unseen force. The creature glided closer, its laughter filling the air with a sound that felt like shards of glass scraping against her mind. Tears streamed down her face as it reached out. "You're mine now," it whispered, and with a sharp jolt, pain exploded through her body. Darkness engulfed her as the world spiraled away. When Emma woke, the sun was rising. She was lying in the middle of the road, her clothes damp and her body trembling. The woods were silent again. The shadow was gone, but she wasn't alone. A mark burned into her skin over her heart, pulsed faintly, a sigil she didn't recognize. And in her mind, the laughter remained, a haunting reminder that she would never truly be free. But this was only the beginning. The following nights were worse. Emma's dreams were plagued by visions of the shadowy figure. It watched her from the corners of her mind, always grinning, always waiting. During the day, she found herself drawn to the woods despite her fear. It was as if an invisible thread connected her. She started noticing changes in herself. Her reflection in the mirror looked distorted, her eyes darker, her smile unfamiliar. She would lose time, waking up in strange places with no memory of how she got there. The sigil on her chest pulsed more intensely, burning like a brand. One night, unable to fight it any longer, she returned to the woods. The path seemed different, the trees taller and their shadows deeper. The hum was back, louder this time, vibrating through her bones. As she ventured deeper, she realized she was no longer alone. Figures emerged from the darkness, their forms similar to the creature that had marked her. They surrounded her, their glowing eyes piercing through the gloom. They whispered in unison, a cacophony of voices that filled her head. "Welcome home, Emma." The central figure stepped forward,